I love growing vertically, as you can see. It makes really good use of the space you have, especially in a small or urban space. Hey, it's Connie here. Welcome to my backyard here in Melbourne. I grow heaps of different veggies, flowers, berries, and fruit here. And here are 5 things that I couldn't live without in my garden. Number 1 is a composting system. Composting is really great because it is the single best thing that you could do to start your sustainable gardening journey. Composting takes food scraps out of landfill and you get nutritious compost, better than anything you could possibly buy in stores for your garden. I love using compost tumblers because they're elevated from the ground, which helps keep rodents out of your compost system. And they also have this turning mechanism, which is really great for aerating your compost easily. I also love composting with worms. Worm farming is awesome because you also get a bonus pet. So my worms are collectively known as the Wiggles. So when you are worm farming, you need to get special worms for composting, which are called compost worms. So they're like red wrigglers or tiger worms, and they're more suited to the worm farming life. My Wiggles band, I have like 1,000 members. Number 2 is flowers. I feel like planting flowers is really important for any veggie garden because flowers bring in the beneficial insects, they bring in the pollinators. So veggies such as zucchinis, pumpkins, cucumbers, they all need pollination in order to fruit. So if you've got lots of insects helping you to do that, then you've got a thriving veggie patch. I love to plant my flowers both in my veggie patch, so mingled with my veggies, as well as around my veggie patch, just so I can bring as many pollinators, as many bees, and as many beneficial insects into my garden as possible. Another thing I like to do is when my brassicas go to flower at the end of the season, I will let them just stay in the garden, and it attracts lots of bees, which just keeps them happy all through the season, so they know that my garden is a safe place to live, and come summer they can pollinate my veggies. I think the other good thing about having flowers in the garden is that they just make you really happy, so they attract me. Number 3 is a garden diary. So keeping a garden diary is really important for gardening because you can learn more about your garden's microclimate, and you can also take note of things that worked and didn't work in your garden. So there's a few ways you can do a garden diary. The first way is just to use a regular planner or notebook, and you simply just write down your observations and date them. Another way you could do it is using a specially designed garden diary. So these kinds of diaries, they have things like monthly gardening tips, when to plant things, as well as special charts where you can log, for example, the weather and when you sowed them and when you harvested them. And of course, the final way you could do it is just by using a phone. I just use the Notes app on my phone and I take notes whenever I see them. I've tried all 3 methods and I probably just stick with my phone most of the time, mainly because I always have it on hand. So I take notes when I see them, and I also take photos, which are kind of like a visual diary as well. So if I can't be bothered typing, I can look back at my photos and I can see the date, and I know that, hey, that flowered on that day. Number 4 is harvest baskets. So harvest baskets are really fun to have because it just makes the harvesting experience so fun and exciting, and it feels like you're going to a farmer's market, but you're actually just shopping in your backyard. I find that large flat baskets like these are really good for harvesting fruit and, tomatoes, because things don't get bruised when you spread them out. And then I also like having kind of bigger, deeper baskets for harvesting my salad veggies and like Asian greens, because then I can stand them up and they don't get squished in that way. And then my wooden bowls, they're really handy for harvesting little things such as berries, blueberries, snow peas, stuff like that. One thing I really like about having a basket when harvesting my veggies is that they're lightweight and they're also not fragile. So if I was to take a ceramic bowl from my kitchen to harvest my veggies, I don't know if I could guarantee I'd bring that back in one piece. Number 5 is vertical support. Growing things vertically is really good for small spaces. It takes the fruit off the soil, so your fruit is less likely to rot, and it also makes your garden look neat. It takes the leaves off the soil, so it helps with ventilation and reduces fungal disease risk, and it just makes the garden look really exciting and interesting. There are a few different ways you can provide vertical support to your plants. The most basic way is just using a single stake, like what I've done with my blueberries. They're really good for like small plants where they only need a little bit of support from like the wind or the fruit that's getting really heavy. You can also get a number of those stakes, and if you put them together in a tent-like shape and tie on top, you can make a really nice trellis for snow peas. Of course, you can make your own arch as well. This is a little bit more involved, but the results are worth it. So basically, this is a Rio mesh panel, and you just get two people, you walk it together, you walk the ends together to create an arch, and then you support it with these star pickets. And they're awesome, they're really sturdy. You can grow pumpkins over this. I've grown really big pumpkins on these, and as you can see, I can hang from it as well. So they're really great for pretty much anything. So those are my 5 things that I couldn't live without, and I'd love to hear what yours are too.